Civil rights to civil erasure, from the promise of Pan-African unity to the reality of broken promises. This is ABFTV-B1, where history, culture, and lineage collide.
Welcome back to ABFTV. Today we're going deep from the civil rights movement to 2025. We're talking about immigration, Pan-Africanism, cultural erasure, and why delineation has become a lifeline for freedmen. With me is B1.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, this one cuts deep. Because what we're talking about isn't just history in books. It's my family. It's me. It's all of us.
Let's start with the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. What was it and why does it matter?
On paper, it ended immigration quotas that favored Europeans. But the truth? It reshaped America in a way that pushed freedmen to the side. And the irony is that our fight for civil rights gave that law its power. Robert F. Kennedy said in '64, "Everywhere else in our national life, we've eliminated discrimination based on place of birth. Yet this system is still the foundation of our immigration law." Ted Kennedy called it an extension of America's ideals. So our blood, our marches, our sacrifices became the moral cover to open the door for others. We wanted justice. Instead, America gave us diversity.
All right, let's talk about the economic impact of immigration. How did it hit Black Americans directly?
I'll give you my family story. My great-grandmother was a sharecropper with no education. Later, she worked cleaning white people's houses to survive. But when Caribbean immigrants came, they worked longer hours for less money. And just like that, half of her work dried up. And it wasn't just her. That story played out across the country, in domestic work, factories, and construction. Employers got cheap labor, and we got pushed out. And the research backs this up. Between 1980 and 2000, immigration created up to 60% of wage losses for low-skilled Black men. And it accounted for about 25% of lost jobs, which resulted in a 10% rise in incarceration rates.
That's devastating.
It most definitely is. Because when jobs vanish, brothers gonna do what they gotta do to survive. And in America, the hustle for survival most of the time comes with consequences and handcuffs.
Let's talk about civil erasure.
You see, civil rights remedies were supposed to try to repair the damage done to us. But instead, they rebranded it as minority programs. So housing became minority aid. Business loans, minority aid. Affirmative action, minority aid. You see the pattern. So the policies born from our suffering ended up serving everybody else. We were the face of the struggle, but we were not the recipients of the benefits.
What about Pan-Africanism? Why do you call it a trap?
Because we actually believed in it. We thought that if Caribbeans and Africans came here, they might fight with us. We saw them as family, but reality, some didn't even see themselves as Black. They were Jamaican, Nigerian, Trinidadian, not freedmen. They cosplayed Blackness when it was convenient, but they weren't really riding for our causes. And to make it worse, some of them looked down on us. It took nearly 30 years to realize they had marginalized us, just like white America had. They wanted the rewards of our struggle, but they really didn't want to be us, nor did they respect the legacy of our lineage.
That's strong. Can you give an example?
When I was 15, I asked a Jamaican girl to prom. She said yes. But when her mom found out I was a Black American, she said, hell no. She told her daughter to go with a Jamaican boy from New York instead. You know, they cut real deep. But I thought it was just a one-off, until it happened again. Years later, as an adult, I hired a Jamaican contractor. He laughed and told me, Black Americans really have no culture. What's your culture? Y'all know I had to school him, because we are the culture. Rock and roll, blues, jazz, hip-hop, all ours. The patents, the inventions, the institutions. All the HBCUs, hospitals, all ours. We fought in wars for this country when we had to fight racism just to be allowed to fight in the war. Now think about that. But I digress. This is what we've had to face. Immigrants who look like us, but they're not like us.
Let's fast forward to 2025. How does civil erasure show up today?
The Essence Festival. It was created to celebrate Black women and Black excellence. An African co-opted it and turned it into a Nigerian jollof rice competition. The core was missed. Yet the main entertainers, the real draw, were who? Black American freedmen. That's the pattern we see. We open the door, and they don't even wipe their feet when they come in. They draped a Pan-African banner over our house when our house wasn't built for that. Now that's what you call civil erasure in modern-day real time.
What about the most recent wave of immigration?
That's the third wave. The first wave was the Immigration Act 1924. The second wave, there was the 1965 Hart-Celler Act. And fast forward to 2020, under the Biden administration, millions of migrants were pouring into sanctuary states, receiving free housing, healthcare, and aid. You name it. Meanwhile, when Freedmen push for reparations, the government says, where would the money come from? But somehow, they've got billions for migrants. Go figure.
And reparations?
That betrayal cuts the deepest. Reparations is a debt owed to freedmen only. But Caribbean members on commissions try to rewrite the language to include immigrants. They look like us, but they undermine us. This is why delineation is a non-negotiable item. Reparations without lineage specificity is just another repeat of civil rights, where we do the work but everyone else eats.
Let's close on culture versus lineage. Why does that distinction matter?
Because culture is what we create, and lineage is who we are. Culture can be copied, but lineage can't. When those lines blur, we vanish into a generic blackness. And when that happens, the state will say, but we already gave y'all black folks benefits. But those benefits don't go to us. They go to whoever cosplays the best.
I have to admit, B1, this has been heavy. From Hart-Celler to Essence 2025, from jobs to reparations, the line keeps getting blurred. What's the takeaway here?
That delineation isn't hate. It's survival. We fought for justice, and our fight was co-opted. From the 60s to now, the story hasn't changed, only the faces in the time. This is a new understanding of delineation, and it is the beginning of a black renaissance. And if we don't draw the line now, history will erase us forever.
Powerful. And to our listeners, sit with this, wrestle with it, but never forget where the line is drawn.
You've been listening to ABFTV-B1, where we draw the line between culture and lineage. The conversation doesn't stop here. Share this episode, subscribe, and join us in keeping Freedmen voices alive. For B1 and Tia, thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, delineation is survival.